Hey everyone, I'm Charting Man Dan, full-time trader for the last 13 years, and in this video we're going to look at the broader market bullish continuation from the breakouts we saw yesterday, and I'm going to talk a little bit about why I think a debt deal passing may be a short-term sell the news event. Let's look at the charts.
All right, so good sign for the bulls to see follow through from the breakout yesterday. Again, the sideways range breaking bullish. I'm more of a believer in this move because it is following the preceding sideways action, which is essentially shaking up a soda can and finally releasing that releasing the top and having, that move being more forceful because it built up the pressure. So we have the S&P 500. Let's go to the actual futures chart here. So S&P 500 futures here getting to just over and hitting 9-month highs. So now from here on SPY, adjusted for the dividends, we're looking up at 414. That broke. There's a gap at 415. We filled it. 419.99, 98. And the most important level here in this range is 426.37. If that level were to break, we would get to 52-week highs. NASDAQ getting 52-week highs today, so following through. And I was keeping an eye, I posted on Twitter, whenever I have a bias in a certain direction, I want to put on my glasses of the opposing side. And what I mean by that is just viewing things from the other perspective to just ensure that I'm not biased and not clouded. My judgment is not clouded from that bias. So this morning I was watching this uptrending resistance line, and it's not enough for me to sell long. It's not enough for me to short, but it's enough for me to say, okay, if we were to reject from here and have a red day, then I would want to be paying extra attention to this resistance line. But by the end of the day, we blew through it. No longer in play, no longer a factor for me. The entries for longs, because a lot of people are feeling FOMO on this move. You're pretty much right now, again, I'm just going by social media, and obviously I'm going by, my Twitter bubble that I've curated over the last 5+ years. But you've got the bears that are in disbelief, that are talking fundamentals and, saying this is a bear market rally. You've got FOMO, people that did not have the positions that they were looking for in terms of size, and they've got a bunch of cash on the sideline. And of course, you got the bulls that are very happy. But there's the bulls that are looking for entries at this point. Just use our trends, right? We're looking for hourly higher lows for entries. So today, the S&P 500 pulls back, testing hourly EMA 12. We had a falling wedge that ended up shaping up into the end of the day. And that broke bull. It wasn't a great one because we only had 2 resistance touches, but as soon as I saw this bear break with no follow through, I posted, keep an eye out for this potential falling wedge for the bulls to try and recover a bit here into the close. And I was not expecting the big run up to new highs, but we got it. And I didn't do a whole lot of trading today personally, just let my long IRA do the work for me while I was away from the computer. But again, it's just at this point, it's looking at the strongest names and looking for hourly higher low entries or daily higher low entries. And the names that we're putting on a show today, Netflix, weekly equilibrium has been tightening up for a few months, and it just exploded to the upside. And we've got 379.43 still has resistance, but a 9% day. Just a gap and go in a big way on huge volume. And NVDA continues to put on a show. NVDA in breakout mode. Again, I do believe this is leading to a climax type of top where you just completely shoot straight up. You have a huge volume day with a V-shaped move, or the opposite of a V-shaped move. A big push up, a big drop down, and the amount of volume behind that move and the size of the pullback away from the high has you looking for that to be the top. And on NVDA, again, not trying to nail tops. If you're trying to go bearish on a name that's this strong, wait for a move. Oh, that's a big 15-minute pullback. I'm going to scout a 15-minute lower high. I've got my very clearly defined stop loss level. If that level breaks, I'm wrong. It's not a 15-minute lower high. And you just wait for the big enough pullback to give the space to scout that lower high short. You can do it on the 5-minute, the 2-minute, the 15-minute, the hourly, the daily, whatever time frame you're using. That allows you to establish a very clear trade game plan and allows you to very clearly identify your risk and reward. Whereas if you're just trying to nail a top on the way up, it's a lot harder to have that very clear exit and to have, you want a level that everybody is watching. Everybody was watching 318.24 resistance on this bounce. And so it's not surprising that we formed a lower high compared to that level. Granted, the bulls recovered a lot into the end of the day. But again, on the hourly, a big hourly pullback to then scout the hourly lower high. We're not going to pull back in any meaningful way unless we confirm an hourly downtrend. So yes, you're going to give up a little bit of profit by waiting for a bearish move to then be looking for, but it will give you a lot less risk as far as a clear game plan. Another reminder, we've got a few days left on our free 1-month trial for the TheChartGuys Swing Report, and the links are in the comment of this video. Check it out. See you there. But all bulls still on NVDA. Semiconductors putting on an absolute show. Just 3-day massive breakout here, and you look at names like TSM, straight off the lows here. You've got AMD in this big time breakout after confirming the daily bull flag. You've got MU. Did we participate? Yep, big breakout today, finally getting the follow through. So semiconductors and big tech continue to lead the way. The financial sector played along with the bulls really not until the second half of the day today. We'll look at that in just a moment. But first, I want to talk about the potential of a sell the news event. So buy or sell the news event takes place when the news is known in advance. And right now, with this bullish action, the market is pricing in at least 90%, probably 95% plus. And that's just speculation, but let's just say 95% plus chance that the government is going to reach a deal and not default. So that's being priced in. The harder we run into when we get a deal, the more likely that's going to mark a top. So for me, I'm going to be watching the daily chart. And if we do not have daily consolidation, we don't know when the debt agreement could be reached. It could be tomorrow. It could be in 2 weeks. But if we do not have any daily consolidation leading up into the debt deal, I'm going to be looking for the debt deal announcement to lead to a quick push up and then that to mark the temporary top. And then we'll look for daily consolidation. I'm not talking macro top. I'm just looking for a pullback to look for daily higher lows. And we'll take it from there. But just keep that in mind that if you are looking at the short term, that is a possible scenario. And the exact opposite scenario, remember the invasion of R with U? I'm not going to use the country's names because YouTube algos then get all out of whack with how they categorize us. But R invaded U, and we were told the days in advance, it's going to happen. It's going to happen at this time. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. And then when it actually happened, when the border was crossed, we bounced, and that marked the low. The news was essentially known in advance. The market had priced it in with a ton of weakness leading up into it, and it's the exact opposite scenario with the potential of a sell the news event of a debt deal being reached. Just something to keep an eye on. NASDAQ, all bulls putting on an absolute show. Just the grind up. When you're in a real bullish market, and the NASDAQ is in a very bullish uptrend right now. There's no other way to describe it. Whether we set a 4-month lower high or not is going to remain to be seen in the coming months. I'm watching for it. I'm going to be ready for it if it happens. But when you are in a strong market, Bitcoin does this all the time. When it's in a strong bull market, rising wedges break bull. And so you have a bunch of people looking at, oh, the bulls are tired and, positioning for a bear break. And then it just stops all those people out. And so that's what's happening with the NASDAQ right now. As the NASDAQ hits 52-week highs, and QQQ here is looking at, we haven't been at this level since April 2022. And the next resistances we're going to be looking at are limited. And again, look at how much space we have for a daily higher low. This is just a perfection breakout in the sense that the bulls have everything they want. Increasing bull volume, held daily EMA 12, ramp up, tons of space for an hourly higher low. Hourly consolidation today didn't even touch EMA 12 support. We didn't even get to 5-minute oversold. Bulls were too aggressive buying that dip. We're going to look for a daily higher low to be the result of next consolidation. But next resistance, 345.22, and there's a good bit of resistance at that level. And we are getting a bit extended, right? We know consolidation will be coming eventually. The 4-hour RSI is above 80. And the question that I'm going to have is, do we see, when we consolidate in the NASDAQ, does the healthcare sector start to show strength? Because again, the healthcare sector was weak yet again today. Dropped down all morning. It did bounce into the close just like yesterday, but we don't have a daily bounce. And so if I'm looking at the broader market here and I'm a bull, this is a good thing for me. Why would the healthcare sector being weak be a good thing? Because I know that this is almost like a backup. Well, the healthcare sector could see a daily bounce, and that can help keep the S&P 500 strong when we see inevitable consolidation in semiconductors and tech. So we'll be watching to see if that shapes up, but for now, just a daily inside bar on XLV. So semiconductors, back burner trades. We're going to be watching for first 5-minute oversold conditions. We're going to be watching for first hourly oversold conditions. And then that's how bulls are going to help. That's going to help bulls scout to look long on consolidation. Tesla testing resistance of 177.38. We have not broken it yet, but if we do break it, that's a quick little weekly pivot. Not much of a pivot, but it will have us watching a monthly inside bar. And again, the monthly high or low is potentially shaping up here. And the next question will then be, can the bulls break the monthly inside bar in their favor in June? And can we break 217.65 to confirm a monthly uptrend? The financial sector, solid day. So weekly inside bar bull break following IWM that did it yesterday. And now the question for the financial sector is, number one, can we get over weekly EMA 12, which rejected the price 3 weeks in a row on the tests? But most importantly for me, can we break 33.53 to confirm the weekly uptrend? If we can't, it's still a longer-term weekly downtrend. But if we do, that's a big win for the market bulls. That would be our weakest sectors joining Team Bull. And the regional banks, nice follow through from the inverse head and not the inverse, the Adam and Eve reversal pattern. And again, bigger picture now, bulls are watching weekly EMA 12 in the coming weeks as a potential target from here. And if this is going to be a long-term bottom, we have to bounce significantly, we have to form a weekly high or low, and confirm a weekly uptrend. So there's still a lot of work to do to have confidence to say the bottom's in for the regional banks. We could say the bottom's in for now, but now we're watching the weekly time frame to see how big is the bounce and how much retracement do we see once we top out on this bounce. IWM, nice follow through, 177.34, broke just barely, but getting to the highest level in the last 3 weeks, trying to confirm a weekly uptrend. And again, watching, is growth going to act as laggards? IWM needs to break 180, we'll call it, to confirm the weekly uptrend, and that is less than 2% away. And so we look at growth, and the biotech sector, I would be a bit cautious here. What I'd be looking for is intra-sector rotation. We've seen it in tech. Apple took a breather for over a week while Google and Amazon did their thing. The biotech sector has been leading the growth names on this bounce. And now I'm watching, do we see a shift where the biotech sector loses some of that strength? And we see it elsewhere in other names. So I'm going to be keeping an eye out for anything under 88.53 to be a daily lower high on XBI. But again, you look at a name like PLTR, how's that for a breakout follow through? Higher low, double top of 1031 breaks. I mean, that's a cup and handle. It's an ugly looking one, but the psychology is there. You've got your resistance, your consolidation, your inability to break resistance, your bull flag, and then your big time breakout. And let's now go to the 4-month time frame. 4-month bounce is underway. Monthly inverse head and shoulders confirmed. So there's a couple other names that have monthly inverse head and shoulders. Coin has a monthly inverse head and shoulders. One problem is Bitcoin is seeing some relative weakness over the last few days comparative to the broader market. But I'm keeping a close eye on ARK. I really like the weekly chart for ARK. It's just picture perfect, clear, and tight. And we've got the daily higher low set. We're testing 39.43 to try and confirm the daily uptrend. And then we're going to be looking at this weekly equilibrium to try and break bull. And again, trying to put in a longer term bottom to see the 4-month bounce play out. So, bullish until I have a reason not to be. There's a lot of traders where their style is to, pick a target point or what a resistance zone, whatever it is, and look short there. But I know, I'm already saying, I'm not going to nail this top in the market. And I'm accepting that, and I'm going to be protecting when I see red flags. But there are no red flags whatsoever at this point. And the bull thesis from Monday's video, or maybe it was Tuesday, I forget. But the bull thesis is coming together as far as everything that a bull would want to see. So we know daily consolidation will be inevitable. It's just a question of, does that daily consolidation just result in another NASDAQ, high or low? Is this convincing enough to have bulls with cash on the sideline buy dips or not? We will see. The number one thing that you should not be doing in this market environment is attaching yourself to a bias that does not have an invalidation point. You can't just say I'm bearish and then just stay bearish. You have to have a level that says, okay, I was wrong, and then reassess the situation. And same thing as a bull. Don't get too comfy. Daily consolidation will happen eventually. Just have to ensure that hourly oversold conditions mark the daily high or low, and we continue to see the characteristics of a strong market to show us that the bulls do still have control. The dollar, and again, another factor for the bulls. The bulls love that they're this strong without the healthcare sector helping at all, and the bulls love that the dollar is this strong and it's having zero negative impact on the market. What happens if the dollar sets a weekly lower high within the next week or two? Perhaps that helps the market bulls keep control. But the dollar bulls are in full control of the bounce. Daily bull flag, follow through. The bounce is now over 50% retracement, which means we can remain within this weekly tightening range for a while. We could bounce for another week or two, then we pull back for a week or two. Now we have a tight range, and it's, second half of June. So we'll keep an eye out for a weekly lower high on the dollar, but bulls with a convincing win off of this base of support. That's keeping downward pressure on the metals. Again, there's no fear in the market right now. There's no fear in regional banks in the last couple of weeks. So the metals are being ditched for other things. We went into a risk-on environment in the last, this week is when it really kicked off. And so we're seeing the risk-off kind of asset, the metals, sell off, and we're seeing the higher risk stuff like PLTR and ARKK. Look at the AI sector. So AI, a little bit of an indecision candle, but keep an eye on the rest of the AI sector. PLTR is in there. We saw what it did today, but a lot of green. DDOG has been straight up since earnings. So another one that when daily consolidation starts, we're going to look for hourly oversold conditions. When was the best time to buy PLTR? Hourly oversold for the daily high or low. So that's the kind of environment we're in right now. We're looking for daily consolidation, scouting hourly oversold conditions to try and set up a trade game plan for entries on consolidation, and choosing the strongest names. So Netflix is going to be looking for it. And of course, NVDA eventually. DDOG, PLTR, AI, all these names, the most likely scenario will be a daily high or low next consolidation. Oil struggling to confirm the daily uptrend. We're just trading sideways for now. All I care about is 69.41 and 73.89. Nothing is changing if neither of those levels are breaking. Big win for natural gas bulls. Inventory report reaction. And we've been seeing, again, you look back in hindsight, is it really that simple? The first confirmed daily uptrend in 5 months. At this point, yes, it's that simple. That was the go signal, and really nice follow through, breaking the weekly lower highs, trying to close over weekly EMA 12 for the first time all year. And next longer term level is 302. And another name that has tons of space for a 4-hour higher low. We'll watch for a daily higher low next consolidation, but the bottom is in for now on natural gas. It's just a question of how significant is this bounce going to be, and the monthly bounce is now underway. Just keep in mind, once we get momentum shifts, they can last for a while. So this is the kind of play where if you did a good job getting a bottom here and had a nice profit in the last 2 weeks on this bounce, might be worth keeping a runner just to see how long bulls can keep this control. All right, congrats to the bulls. Stay vigilant out there. We know we're due for daily consolidation, inevitably in the short term, in the next couple of days in big tech and semiconductors. What we see during that consolidation is going to be very informative. What are our other sectors doing? Are all sectors pulling back at the same time for that daily consolidation? Bulls don't want to see that. Bulls want to see tech pull back and then the financial sector take off, or the healthcare sector get a bounce going. Keep an eye on how hard we run into a debt deal to see if that could be a potential short-term sell the news event to lead to daily consolidation. If we see daily consolidation for 2 days and then a debt deal is reached, that's a different setup. I won't be looking for that to be a sell the news. Really, I've got to see a run up into the news. The only thing that's not known about that news is when. All right. Hope you had a good day. Appreciate you watching. Do good things.